This is a special show that has nothing to do in particular with trolls, but in a way it does. I haven't done my little philosophical shows for quite a long time, have I? And I normally do that on live, but we're not doing that. You know, we're all getting old. You're not going to help that. Neither am I. One thing we have is our memories. Let's go back to the days. Genesis, Phil Collins, Deep Purple. A lot of these bands, Led Zeppelin, that really gave performances of the century. Those were the times. They really were. We don't have all this. You didn't have all this rap shit music back then, did we? We had some really good, meaningful music with talented musicians, talented singers, talented writers. It's just not the same anymore. It just really isn't. You know, I sit back here, I think about my foolishness. I'm gonna be serious. I've been dealing with a bunch of fucking buffoons for about 8 years. Now, you know, I take the guilt where it's due. I put myself on. But you know, once you're off YouTube, and once you finish the show, or you're not doing any broadcast or live streams or anything like that, you know, you get to concentrate on your own life. Now, unfortunately, you know, there's always a block in the road that kind of prevents you from being totally away from the bullshit because you have unfinished business. But like I said, sometimes there's things that you have to do. Doesn't mean I don't go on with my life in the interim. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that sometimes there's unfinished business you got to take care of. And you still go on with your life, but you always have that little thing gnawing at you. You got to finish this. Do what you fucking got to do. Get the adversities away in your life. Now, contrary to a lot of people believe, they think I'm on YouTube listening to every single show that's on here. I'll tell you what, when I do go on my phone, I'm not doing another activity, I'm not watching TV, I'm not doing chores and whatever. I listen to a lot of the old bands that I grew up with. Now, not coming from a rich family, I didn't have a lot of money to go to all these concerts. My brother was more lucky than I was. He went to a lot of concerts, he said those cool people. I grew up in the best music era in the world. I wouldn't trade my age for it for nothing. Because I grew up in a time when music was king, not the crap and shit that we have out today. All these bubblegum pop stars and everybody getting to TikTok and all this crap. You know, if you could put all your adversity and aggression aside and just listen to me for a few minutes here, you'll understand how I feel. When I listen to music, it brings me back. These are good times. You all know what I'm talking about. Good time. And then a lot of things have changed since I was a teen growing up. There's always been drugs around, there's always been alcoholics around, but things seem to be a lot worse ever since I was a teenager. God, you ever say to yourself, how many times you said, those were the days, those were the days. You might look back on old relationships you had, you know, or your first love. I know I'm getting philosophical, but I am purposeful for good reason. You see yourself getting older and you're saying, you know, there's something I need to accomplish. I'm not going to accomplish it by fighting with people here on YouTube when life is so fucking precious. You know, when I don't do a broadcast or something on here and upload or whatever, or my live streams in the past, you know, when you get away from that, you realize there's life outside of fucking YouTube. But a lot of people on here don't realize that there's life. This is their life. And when I made it a great part of my life, doing so many shows in the past, sometimes I do 5 shows a day, saying to myself, I can look back, you know, retrospect, and I say, what a fucking waste of time. Oh, please don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean I wasn't going on with my life with other things, but just getting involved with YouTube or any social media, it's not worth it. You realize that time is limited. You don't have to be in your late 60s. You could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. And what are you doing with your time when you know it's so goddamn fucking precious? It just hits me every now and then, and I think about this shit. We got these goobers out there. We got these people, these self-righteous, cocky, narcissistic asswipes. Why the fuck was I ever wasting my time? Again, in retrospect, why the fuck ever wasting my time? You ever sit down and put your fucking YouTube to the side? Have you ever been able to do that and listen to some of the greatest hits of some of the best bands that you grew up with, where music was fucking meaningful? The lyrics were intense, and the lyrics was such that people could relate to in their life, whether it was love or a challenge in life or some event in your life or about life itself. Life's a one-way street. people. It's a one-way road. When you hit the end of that fucking road, there's no coming back. I plan to make up for a lot of lost time in the past 8 years. Look, let's face it. The Philippines is not the most exciting place in the world, but you have to make the best of where you are, right? And I've been trying to do that, and it's never too late to start doing more things that you've been. Look, I could have enjoyment from being with my partner, my girlfriend, just watching a good fucking movie as long as we're together. That makes my heart, I don't know how to describe it. You know what I'm talking about. But when I hear all these idiots on here, these self-righteous guys, and everybody's on the defense, everybody's on the offense. I say this all the time, get a fucking life. But you know what? I will apply that to myself too, because I've wasted so much fucking time on here with people with mental conditions that you're not going to get through to. It's impossible. It's such a waste of valuable fucking oxygen. Can't believe I got involved with all this media for like 8 years. I'm still kicking myself in the ass saying, what the fuck were you doing? Well, okay. The original intent was pretty damn good as a hobby. And being able to come on here and just kind of talk about life, talk about your experiences, even prior to the Philippines, and then when you did move to the Philippines, talking about your own personal experiences and sharing it with you, telling you how you felt when you first came here to the Philippines, your emotions that you felt, the first time that you met this exotic woman. This is Asia. Really ever been out of the country of the United States other than places like Canada. I was very well traveled in the United States, but not in the world. I don't totally regret that, but I've been to some cool places. But as I sit here talking to you right now and I think about all this exchange that's going on here, particularly between me and another particular individual, what a waste of fucking time this has been. But you know what? Sometimes in life, it's like if you got a goal, whatever your goal is, follow your goal. Nobody should tread on you. Nobody should get into your family. Nobody should be maiming and blaming and defaming and attacking and degrading and antagonizing other people. Life is just too fucking short. I've made this speech, I think, many times in different ways. But I'm telling you kind of like how I feel on it. No offense to some people out here, but you're really insignificant to me. In the scheme of life, you're at the lower end of the fucking scale. You're not important unless I make you important. Because it's something that you've done. Well, that's a whole different story. And I'm gung-ho on that shit. Family has always been precious to me. I haven't always had the closest family. And I never really grew up with a lot of what I would call really close friends. Basically, I was always an independent. I used to travel across the United States by myself with my backpack and my camera equipment, man. Those were the days. They really were. I've sat in gypsum deserts, White Sands Monument, New Mexico. I've been in some incredible places where there was such wonderful solitude. Can't get solitude much here in the Philippines. Overpopulated. Hard to find there's over 700 islands, whatever it is, 7,000 islands, right? I think you could maybe find a place where there's no other people around. That's very hard to do. You're forced to live with the rest of the nearly 8 billion people on this fucking earth. You can't get away from people. That's why I've never been a person that, this tourism shit, You go to a place and you want to go and find some natural beauty, but then you come into fucking all kinds of people and kids screaming, and then you have natural resources of the earth, the most beautiful things to see, beautiful waterfalls, and it's surrounded by a bunch of screaming kids and tourists with rafts in the water at a waterfall like Calasan Falls, and I've seen it in Washington State. You come across a beautiful waterfall, and what's there? There's a fucking vantage point at the top of there, a metal structure you can stand on and look out, totally ruining the whole ambiance of nature. Man has put his hands in just about every fucking thing on here. Everything is people trying to make money, trying to sell you something. Ridiculous souvenir items that are totally fucking worthless, magnets for your fucking refrigerator. People trying to sell you everything but the kitchen sink, because everybody's trying to survive in this world where the natural resources are running out and nobody seems to give a shit. Well, we're around the corner within 3 years of having artificial intelligence rule the earth which is going to be the ultimate demise of this planet. It's not the climate change. No, it's not climate change. It's not another natural disaster you might think it is. We are that close. And I saw a video on this, a guy who used to be a genius for Google, still is, but they're creating programs that actually could make artificial intelligence into a thinking, reasoning development, whether it's robotic. They could create a being that can actually reason and think. And they said we're 2 to 3 years from that right now. They got the technology. You worry about climate change and this and that. And those are all concerns. You don't realize what's happening because you're too busy wanting to know what I'm doing, or the other guy's doing, or how much money somebody has, or whether they had a bankruptcy, or whether they're married or not, and all this other bullshit. It is so insignificant in the fucking scheme of life. It's so insignificant. But you people have the time on your hands to put on this bullshit. And I got caught up in this crap too. One thing you know about me, if you've been listening to me for a long time, you know one thing. I'll say what's on my mind, that's for damn sure. But it's what I have to say. I'm a realist. I understand what's going around me and the earth, my environment. I see how people are getting more aggressive. People are killing each other for barely no reasons. Some people never even met each other and they want to kill each other. It's come down to that. People spend all their time on social media behind their fucking computer screens, acting like a fucking asswipe, acting like a tough guy, but they would never meet up with you, ever. Because they're brave behind their fucking computer. Because their lives are so fucked up and so deprived of everything that maybe other people have and they don't. They get absolutely miserable, livid about the fact that you're living a better life than they are. Whose fault is that? You know, I got caught up in YouTube for all these years, and there was a time when I saw myself becoming some of these fucking asswipes. I got so intertwined with what was going on YouTube through the years that I was following the same path and direction as these people were. And I woke up a lot of times about this, and I went back and put shows on, and nobody gives a fuck what I say on here. Nobody's ever gave a fuck what I say on here. Nor did anybody else give a fuck about what anybody else fucking says on YouTube. These are lonely people that have nothing, and they have nobody, or they have no money, or they don't own a house out here. They don't even have a girlfriend. They're not even able to move out here. But they're throwing insults from another country. They're not even living in the Philippines, and they're throwing insults to people because they can't live their life, and they're living it vicariously through people like myself and others on here. That's a sad state of affairs as far as I'm concerned. And then people do things that are stupid enough to land them in jail in a fucking foreign country. Then they're so fucking stupid that they continue to make the same mistakes over and over again. They wonder why. How am I here? I'm denying I'm in jail. I'm not really in jail. I didn't commit any crimes. What the fuck are you doing in jail? There's certain things I've tolerated on YouTube, and there's certain things I did not tolerate. As you can obviously see, I set a goal, I go for it, and there's no stopping me. I am relentless. But you know what? All this shit's gonna pass over eventually. Now, my life is not ruined because of this shit. I wake up every day like I go to bed every other day, whether YouTube or not. Doesn't affect my sleep. I'm not a walking nervous wreck, but I don't feel fulfilled, because when you start something, at least the way it works for me, is that you need to finish something. Until you finish it, you don't get that total relief yet. You got to continue on that path of what you've been doing to remedy a certain situation, if you know what I mean. Yes, I admit I have wasted 8 years of my time, well, not my total time, any time I've gotten on YouTube. I always thought I was making shows that were very informative, and I was. So far, I've been lucky. I've had a few things happen to me on here. People trying to get me legally and never worked. And people who succeeded, not from YouTube, didn't get their way. You could write the senator, you could write the president, you could write your mother's ass. But if you didn't commit a crime, then you got nothing to worry about. People trying to scare you to drop a case against somebody. Of course, these are all proponents of that person. I get people writing me letters threatening letters to say you need to stop this legal case. Why? Why do I got to stop it? Why? Something, that wasn't very righteous was done. That has to be remedied. There is no turning back. There will be no turning back. And the consequence is the other individual faces was brought on all by himself. He created the situation. I'm going to finish it, but not concentrating on that alone. Did you guys ever spend a moment actually listening to music? Music you grew up with? Oh man, you know the days. Deep Purple, Mountain. I just want to think about it. Neil Young, Carly Simon's great. Even Sarah McLachlan, if you know who she is. Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin. The list goes on. Genesis. You could go on all night naming really significant bands that made significant music. You know, as you get older, we always think back, they call it the good old days. Why can't you have good days now? Why can't you learn to have good days now? Spending all your fucking time on YouTube criticizing everything someone does. Oh, they had a horrible Thanksgiving dinner. Well, according to who? According to who? Oh, that's dog food. Yet the same person says it's dog food was over my house and had a sumptuous breakfast that they vehemently shoveled down their fucking mouth. It had no problem with the meal because it was dog food. They wouldn't eat it. It's little insignificant fucking comments like this that make you realize how fucked up people really are. But you know what? I know people that are in total misery that are off YouTube, that don't want to do anything with their life. They didn't accomplish anything. They're sitting there in their sorrow with big depression, just waiting to die. And that's not how you should go out of this earth. That is not how. Make a fucking bucket list if you have. Enjoy some music, man. Kick back. You don't have to get high or nothing, man. Sit back in your comfortable chair in that lovely air-conditioned room of yours and listen to some of the greatest music, the greatest bands in history. It doesn't have to be anything head-banging, which is not something I'm in. But I grew up with some, I will never regret growing up in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, I will never regret that. The best music in the goddamn world. You see these guys, some of them 40 years old, some in 50 or in their 60s, and they're just fucking whining like a fucking baby, preaching out all this insignificant sewage from their mouth. Some of them haven't had a woman in 30 years. They're still talking about their fucking past. Past that's gone. It's gone and it's over with. And all you have is the memories. But thank goodness for memories, right, folks? Because that's important. The music. Some relationships, women that you met that were so significant to you at the time that you thought it would never last, would never, not last. But they don't always last. But you got to move on with your life, and you moved on from one chick to another. You found love, you lost love. That's what life is like. You find love, but it's better be loved in your life than to have never been loved at all. And it's the people that have never been loved at all that can't find love are the most miserable people here on YouTube. By far. And I keep on saying, oh, I'm done with this, and I come back on, I have something to say. Maybe I do have a lot to say. Maybe I missed the fact when I could do some shows and people were really digging what I had to say. But we're at the point now where everybody's just more interested in attacking each other. It's not fun anymore. Damn, I said what I needed to say time and time again. How much more can I be redundant? What, the back and forth? This guy put the show on, then I put a show on of a reaction. Then he puts a show on in reaction. It just never fucking stops. And you're never accomplishing anything. Nothing. What gets accomplished is what's off YouTube. When you feel that you have to do things, YouTube is not my fucking judge and jury. It's nobody else's judge and jury. It's not as much as you like it to be. You don't make decisions in a fucking courtroom. The judge does that. And as far as what you do with your life, stop fucking complaining. You can't find a fucking woman, then find a fucking woman. There's so many women out here. It's okay. Find a woman, as long as you're not going to fucking abuse her. Which, unfortunately, expats have gotten a really bad reputation out here because of the big influx of thousands of fucking foreigners out here, and all they want to do is use and abuse Filipinos. They want to relive their youth. They want to fuck the youngest girl out there. Fucking youngest girl out there. It's not going to bring back your youth. Trust me, it's not going to. It's artificial. It's almost like artificial intelligence. It's not real. You can pretend all you want. You could be with that fucking 18-year-old. But it's not going to make you 18 years old. And you have nothing in common at all. Zero. But it makes you feel good. I'm reliving my youth. I'm cheating Father Time. I don't have to be with some old bag with silver blue hair and swollen ankles, right? Okay, that's your choice. But if you're going to make a choice of a Filipina, be righteous to her. Don't use her for money. Don't use her for politics. Don't use her to marry her because you think it's going to get you out of a legal situation if you get married to her. Don't do that to the woman because you're ruining her life. Your life is fucked up. Leave it be. Let your life be fucked up if you don't want to change. But don't fuck up another woman's life because of politics. That if you marry her, he thinks it's going to get you back home or get you out of some legal situation in the Philippines. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. And it's not fair to her because she's going to fall and she's going to fall deep. Oh, you got asswipes like this that don't care about anybody else's feelings. Oh, you hurt my feelings. You're not hurting my feelings. I'm laughing the whole fucking time. Every time a lame comment is made about me, all I do is say, is that really how I'm living my life, what they talk about me on here? Is that the reality of my actual life here? No, it's not. You're telling me I'm not happy when I am happy. You're telling me I'm broke when I'm not broke. You're telling me that I'm unaccomplished when I actually am very accomplished. People don't want you to be happy. People don't want you to enjoy your life. They want to be on the attack. They want you to be as miserable as they fucking are. And they're all miserable out there. The majority of the people on here are fucking miserable. Especially the ones that can't find a woman that wants them. Or they can't get to the country because they can't afford to live here. So they're living their life vicariously through people like myself and other people on here. That's not who I am. I've achieved and accomplished my goal, which is something that many of you out here have not achieved. I've achieved my goal. I achieved it. I did it. I planned it. I did something wise. I calculated moving here. What I need to move here. Got rid of an investment, in part, to live here. I've done other things to keep income coming in here with the help of my girlfriend. I have a sustainable income. Our relationship gets deeper and deeper as time goes by, rather than fading. So yeah, okay. You could say I got my shit together. What's wrong with that? And then some fucking idiots that are paying for their fucking women. And they're gonna fucking make lame comments on what I eat for Thanksgiving dinner, that it's dog food. Well, I'm not gonna concentrate on that and just say something to that again. We eat very well around here. If I decide to eat a roast or a chicken or a turkey, it's my choice. And if we enjoyed our dinner, what the fuck does it matter what you think of what I had for Thanksgiving? I have a woman here that makes home-cooked meals. I don't have to go to Marco Polo or somewhere to eat. But I could have a damn good meal at home. Homemade, made with love, not from a stranger making your meal. Not showing off. And look where I am, look at me, I'm at the Marco Polo. Big fucking shit. Big fucking shit. You're eating at the Marco Polo. And the assholes that seem to gather, birds of a feather, seem to stick together. They're all fucking alcoholics. All of them abuse their women in one form or another. Or are using them in one form or another. Some of them make the mistake and get their girlfriends fucking pregnant. Well, they were not ever meant to be a father. They were never meant to be a father because they're too much of a fucking runaround. Or they're a chronic pothead or something that should not belong in a relationship with a good Filipina out here in this country. That they're not doing their Filipina any fucking justice at all. I feel. I said it all. Do I need to say any more? Do I need any more uploads? Hey, maybe you'll see me on a trip. Look. I met the challenge. I won the challenge. Particularly with one individual on here. He's paying the price. All that matters. It didn't have to be that way. No, they had choices to make. Continue to do the shit you're doing. Continue the defamation, the threats, and everything else. That's why you're there, man. That's why you're there. It's your fate. It's your karma. You're fucked up. No matter whatever happens, down the line, you're paying the price right now. Just right now you are. No matter what happens in the near future, whatever the court decides for you, whatever the legal system decides for you, you did it. You did it. You only got yourself to blame. Why don't you sit back instead of doing a show on here and listen to some really good music? Something that brings you back when you were in high school, college, if you were lucky enough or smart enough to go to a college, if you had half a brain to even go to any kind of institution of learning, which half of the goobers on here have no clue what that is, or they could qualify even get into a fucking college other than a community college. You could talk about anybody you want on here, but who's living your life? You're living your life. And as miserable as it is, what gives you the right to go point your finger at anybody else and tell them how miserable they are? Maybe they're not miserable. Do you ever think about that? Maybe I'm not miserable. Why, just because I do shows talking about certain individuals at the time that needs to be talked about? Well, I'm kind of played out on that now. I've been played out with this a long time. Let me just tell you the truth. I've been played out a long time on here. Hey, time to do fun things on here. If you're going to do any uploads, a little vacation or something, maybe put that on there. Forget about talking about politics and legalities and what's happening to this guy or what's not happening to this guy. It's already done. They fucked up their life. There's not too much more I have to do except, if I want to pursue this a little bit further, and well, that's what I just kind of did. I set something in motion. I was a little reluctant, but I said, fuck it. Why not? I'm the kind of guy that likes to go all the way. Let's go all the way with it. Yeah, keep on making shows about me, defaming me, lying to your viewers, lying to me, lying to yourself. How are you winning on that? And how are these alcoholics still going, hey, well, I'm killing it. Yeah, you're killing it. You have no idea what killing it is. You can't keep a woman, nevertheless find a woman. And half of these goobers on here have to fucking buy their fucking women. Blatantly buy, outright buy, rent the pussy incorporated. Shit, I never had to do that. We both got our own money. She don't need mine and I don't need hers. That's the great thing about my relationship. No, I've never paid for a fucking woman in my life. Go on a date. Never done that. Oh, buy dinner or something if you want to consider that. No, I didn't have a rent a woman like some of these assholes are trying to show off what a real man they are. Look at me in Thailand. Look at me in Cebu. Look at them at the Marco Polo eating. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. We have looked at you. And we're laughing at you. And we think you're pathetic. Who are you trying to convince, yourself or us, that you're living the A-class life? No, you're not. You're certainly not. You're desperate. You're unhealthy. You're desperate. And if you have to buy a woman and buy her a phone, whatever you need to do to have her company, that's what you'll do. But if you call that a good life, I don't. To me, that is a sad life. And I got to hit the sheets, folks. That you spent the last 35 minutes listening to this. That's about all I have to say. I'm tired of the back and forth shit. He makes a comment, I make a comment, we go back and forth, and it's not getting anywhere. Not on YouTube, it ain't. Outside of YouTube, it's going to get somewhere. That's for sure. I'll handle my business, like I said. There's already a lot being accomplished right now. And hell, the both of us, we got trips planned. We got a lot of things planned. I'm going to enjoy the bit of money that I do have. This YouTube shit, already canceled the live stream. I canceled that shit. I'm over that. I talked about that for years. Worst thing that's ever happened to YouTube. The worst thing ever. If you can't say anything good about it to anybody, then don't say anything at all. Go about your life if you have such an exciting life that a lot of you people claim that you do, when you don't. Absolutely don't. You're pathetic and you're miserable. You've already gotten into your 50s and 60s, and what are you doing with your life? You can't secure a woman, a good woman, that you don't have to fucking pay for. That ain't living life. And you know what? You're going to get older and older, and you're going to need a good woman besides being your girlfriend, wife, or whatever she turns out to be. She's going to be your caretaker, motherfucker. Treat her right. Treat her right. Learn to treat women right if you want a good woman. If you don't care, you just want a piece of furniture. You just want a woman that you could use and abuse and sexually abuse and verbally and every other thing that you do. Degrade these women, impregnate them, and run away. That's your life. Oh, well. Pretty sad to me. That's what I have to say. And I'm going to bed. I'm worried about what I had for Thanksgiving dinner. Get a fucking life. I mean, get a fucking life.